All right, thank you everybody for staying with us. We are at T-minus 8 minutes to go. We are in a brief hold. Want to make sure that our teams are all aligned for the flight to space today, the extreme test on our escape system in the crew capsule. But we're at mission 9 of this test program. And at Blue Origin, we talk about step by step ferociously. It is our motto, and that's exactly how we approach this test program. So we're at number 9, but it's what we've learned in missions 1 through 8 that have gotten us there. And so I want to show you guys a highlight reel of those previous flights. Why don't we take a look?
Command start. And lift off.
Launch of our New Shepard rocket here from West Texas. Cutoff.
Right on target.
There it is, separation. I love watching that highlight reel. I have been here for every single one of these launches, and it's just electric, absolutely electric. It's what our teams build up for months and months and months, and each day is the day, right? I mean, especially that second mission when we had the historic launch into space and first landing of a rocket ever. Incredible. And then just a couple months later, we reused that same rocket. We showed that you can reuse rockets, and since then, I think we've proven that reusable rockets are here to stay. Absolutely exciting to be part of New Shepard's program as we make history. All right, we are at T-minus 7 minutes and 30 seconds to go. We have come out of a hold. And why don't we get back into our mission? So, as noted, it's going to be a pretty extreme mission, but why don't we get into some of the nitty-gritty and look at it from the perspective of our friend Anakin Skywalker. Okay, so he is going to be strapped into his seat in the capsule. The capsule will be on top of the booster. It'll be a nominal flight to space. He's going to start to feel the G's come on gradually. He'll peak at about 3 G's on ascent, but it's going to be relatively comfortable because he's in that reclined position in those in-house designed seats that absorb the G's. He's going to go until main engine cutoff. At that point, he's going to start to feel the weightlessness. It's going to get nice and quiet because he doesn't have the BE-3 engine underneath him rumbling anymore. And then just about 15 seconds later, the capsule and the booster are going to separate from each other. At that point, we are going to let the capsule and the booster separate by about 20 seconds, and that's going to give the two craft about 100 feet or 30 meters of separation, because when that escape motor fires, it's going to create a big plume of exhaust, and we don't want it to tip the rocket because we want that rocket back. All right, the escape motor fires. Anakin Skywalker is going to go far and fast away from the booster. He's going to go towards an apogee or a high altitude of about 390,000, maybe 400,000 feet. That's about 120 kilometers up. That's 50,000 kilometers higher than we have ever gone in the past. What we want to see from this test is how the reaction control system, it's basically a set of mini thrusters on the base of the capsule, work to keep the capsule nice and stable. We want to stabilize the capsule before we bring it back down to Earth. It's going to pass through, of course, back into the atmosphere. The drogue parachutes will come out. The mains will come out. Last milliseconds, we're going to have the retro thrust system fire, create an air cushion for Mannequin Skywalker for a nice soft landing back at home. In parallel, the booster, assuming it's not tipped over by the escape event, will hit its own apogee and then come back down to Earth for what we hope to be again another nominal landing for the rocket. This is the third flight to space for both the booster and the capsule. So exciting day, many variables, right? Anything could happen. That's why we love live TV, right? Thanks for joining us for today's test. It's going to be a good one. We are at T-minus 4 minutes and 36 seconds to go until this test today. Why don't we take another look at New Shepard while she's on the pad getting ready to go. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us for the 9th mission of this New Shepard test program. We've got our rocket on the pad. She is ready to rock and roll. I hear from Mission Control that we are go for launch. We are at T-minus 3 minutes. Now, T-minus 2 minutes, we're going to throw the show over to the rocket. She's a completely autonomous system, so it's all in her hands. As we count down from there, she's going to go through some of her last-minute checks. We're going to check the aft fins. You see them there on your screen. You see 2 there on your screen. There are 2 more on the other side. Make sure that they've got free range. And we're also going to see the engine gimbal. You see the nozzle kind of peeking out there out of the bottom of the rocket. That also needs to make sure that it's got free range of movement. They work together in concert to direct the vehicle. So we need to make sure that they are free to do their thing. Meanwhile, we've got our teams that have their eyes glued to their screens and want to make sure in particular that the temperature and pressures in the propellant tank are all in the green and ready to go. It's warm down here in Texas this morning, and we want to make sure that the ambient temperature isn't affecting the propellants too much. So that's why we're making sure that we've got everything continuing to be a go for launch. We are at T-minus 2 minutes and 29 seconds. We are in a brief hold here as we get ready for the 9th test mission to space. And I understand we are out of the brief hold. Everything is looking good for our launch today. T-minus 1 minute and 40 seconds to go. The gantry is retracting. control has been sent over to the rocket. Let's wait for those gimbal checks. There go the fin checks. There goes the engine gimbal check. Man, you can feel the excitement down here in Texas. At this point, let's turn it over to Mission Control. Get ready for an exciting ride, Mannequin Skywalker.
Guidance to internal. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Command engine start. 2, 1.
Go, baby, go. A beautiful liftoff of our New Shepard rocket here from West Texas. Listen to that BE-3 engine roar. You can follow along as she gains speed up to space in your top right corner of your screen. Bottom left, follow along with the altimeter. You may have seen we started about 3,600, 3,700 feet. That's our altitude down here at our West Texas launch site. Just about at max Q. It's where the aerodynamic stresses are at their maximum on the rocket. Looks like a nice clean burn on that BE-3 engine. The next milestone on her flight to space will be main engine cutoff. (90,000 feet and climbing. Thank you again for joining us for this live test of our New Shepard rocket. We are within seconds of this exciting escape test. We'll be firing the escape motor in the crew capsule about 20 seconds after separation of the capsule from the booster. Main engine cutoff. The rocket is still ascending towards space. Separation confirmed. There goes the escape motor. The crew capsule has blasted away from the booster as planned. Let's see how the reaction control system on the base of the capsule reacts. We want to stabilize the capsule prior to it re-entering the atmosphere for a nice, smooth landing back here home. The capsule is continuing up towards space, towards its apogee. You can see on the top right corner of your screen, it's slowing down. Once it hits 0, you know it's hit its max altitude, and then of course it's going to regain speed as it comes back home. Thank you again for joining us for this live test. We have just fired the escape motor in the capsule at about 250,000 feet. So far, everything looks good. The capsule has reached its apogee and is heading back home. Everything from this vantage point is looking nominal in our test today. Now the booster is going to beat the capsule back home as in a nominal flight. First milestone as it returns home that's going to help ensure and give us confidence that it wasn't affected by the escape test, as we're going to see the wedge fins deploy at the top of the rocket. They'll come out of the ring fin. Both the ring fin and the forward fins, or the wedge fins, support the stability of the rocket as it comes back to land at our landing pad just 2 miles north of where it's taken off from. There are the wedge fins. They've come out. That is an excellent sign. All right, the next step here, the drag brakes are going to deploy. You'll see the speed of the booster reduced dramatically, and that is before the engine restarts for a nice soft landing. There go the drag brakes. Engine relight. Landing gear down. And touchdown. Welcome back. That is the third trip to space and back for that rocket. Just another day at the office. All right, let's turn it back to the crew capsule. From what I understand, everything is nominal so far with the crew capsule. Did you guys see that hover? Absolutely beautiful. Again, thank you for joining us for this live test of our new Shepherd system. We flew up to about 250,000 feet, 75 kilometers. We fired the escape motor to see how the capsule would react and the engine would react the escape motor that is, in the vacuum of space. The booster came down for a beautiful, beautiful, soft landing back here in Texas. All right, and there is the crew capsule. The drogues have come out. Excellent sign. There go the mains. Slightly reefed, and they will go to full inflation. Gorgeous. And look how stable the capsule is after such an extreme event up there in space. Mannequin is ready to come home. He probably peaked at about 10 Gs or so, but you know what? That is well within what humans can take, especially for such a short spurt of time and in those reclined seats. It's just important that we bring the astronauts home safely. A nice stable hover there at about 16 miles an hour. Some great shots of those big, beautiful windows on the capsule. Anything could have happened today, and this is the best possible outcome.